All right, get ready to jack in, because today we're diving into the digital world of Tron.
Sounds like fun.
But hold on, before you think, oh, this is just a nostalgia trip, trust me, this one gets seriously relevant to cybersecurity today.
Yeah.
You sent in a fascinating article, Unlocking the Future, Tron's Influence on Modern Cybersecurity. And it makes a bold claim that Tron didn't just predict the future, it actually helped shape it.
Really? That's interesting.
So for those who haven't had the pleasure, Tron throws us into a world where a programmer gets sucked into a digital world, battling for control against a rogue AI called the Master Control Program.
The MCP.
The MCP, exactly.
Classic.
But how did this 80s classic go from sci-fi fantasy to influencing real-world cybersecurity?
Well, what's striking is that Tron, released way back in 1982, actually visualized concepts that are now cornerstone cybersecurity practices.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Remember those light cycle races racing through a neon grid? That visual representation of data actually influenced the development of those really intuitive security dashboards. You see companies like Splunk and IBM using today to monitor network activity.
It's like Tron gave cybersecurity professionals a visual language for what was essentially an invisible world.
Absolutely. And this visual language was essential for communicating these complex concepts to a wider audience. You know, the article actually points out how terms like digital fortress and digital guardians, which are so commonplace in cybersecurity now, they directly echo the imagery and themes of Tron.
So instead of just dry technical jargon, we have these evocative metaphors that make cybersecurity more relatable, even exciting.
Precisely. And that's where I think Tron's influence goes beyond just like buzzwords. Like take Okta, for example, one of the companies that's mentioned in the article. They specialize in identity and access management.
Wait, so just like the program Tron controlled access in the movie?
Yes.
Okta is like the gatekeeper of the digital world for businesses today.
Exactly. The article highlights how Okta's multi-factor authentication, which so many of us use daily without even realizing its complexity, is a direct descendant of the access control concepts that are visualized in Tron. It's about verifying identities digitally, adding layers of security to prevent unauthorized access.
Okay, so instead of a single password, multi-factor authentication might involve, say, a code sent to your phone, adding an extra layer of security to make sure it's really you accessing your accounts.
Exactly.
So simple, but so important.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about keeping the bad guys out, right?
Right.
The article also talks about CyberArk and SailPoint and how they act as digital guardians, protecting valuable data within an organization.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The article does a great job of explaining how Tron highlighted this threat of a rogue program, the MCP, taking control from within the system, right? That's exactly what CyberArk and SailPoint are designed to prevent. They specialize in securing what are called privileged accounts.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't cybersecurity experts, break down what a privileged account actually is.
So think of the people who have the keys to the kingdom within a company's network. So system administrators, IT specialists, database managers, These users have access to highly sensitive data and critical systems. If those accounts are compromised, it's like handing over the master key to a hacker.
So CyberArk and SailPoint are like those high-tech security systems you see in spy movies. But instead of protecting a secret vault, they're protecting a company's entire digital infrastructure.
Exactly. They provide tools to manage, monitor, and control access to those privileged accounts. This includes things like enforcing strong passwords, tracking user activity, and even implementing something called least privilege, where users are only given access to the specific information and systems they absolutely need to do their jobs.
So basically minimizing the attack surface by making sure even if one account is compromised, the damage is limited.
Precisely. It's a multi-layered approach to security. Much like the multiple, defenses the heroes in Tron had to navigate to defeat the MCP.
This is fascinating. It really highlights how cybersecurity has evolved from simple firewalls to these sophisticated, multifaceted strategies.
And that evolution is directly tied to the increasingly complex threats we face in the digital world. I mean, think about it. In 1982, when Tron came out, the internet as we know it didn't even exist. Today, we're dealing with everything from sophisticated phishing scams and ransomware attacks to nation-state-sponsored cyber espionage.
It's like Tron was a warning shot, A glimpse into a future where control of the digital realm would be paramount.
And the article drives home this point. Cybersecurity is no longer optional. It's not just something for big corporations or government agencies to worry about. Every business, every organization, no matter how big or small, needs to be thinking about their digital defenses.
Absolutely. But it's not all doom and gloom, is it?
Yeah.
The article also talks about the power of imagination and how Tron reminds us that we have the ability to shape the future. Even in the face of these challenges.
That's what I find so inspiring about Tron.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a cautionary tale. It was a call to action, a reminder that even in the digital world, it's human ingenuity, creativity, and yes, even a bit of a rebellious spirit that will ultimately determine our fate.
It's like that famous quote,
yeah.
The best way to predict the future is to invent it. And Tron, in its own way, helped to invent the future of cybersecurity just by getting people thinking about the possibilities, both good and bad.
Absolutely. It sparked a conversation about our relationship with technology, and I think that conversation continues to this day.
Yeah.
And that's really the takeaway here, I think. Cybersecurity isn't just about technical solutions.
Right.
It's about fostering a mindset, of awareness, vigilance, proactive thinking.
So what would you say to our listener who's been on this deep dive with us today?
Yeah.
What's the one thing to take away from all of this?
Honestly, don't underestimate the power of imagination. I mean, Tron was a product of someone's imagination.
Yeah.
And look at the impact it's had, right? We need to be thinking creatively about the future of cybersecurity, envisioning potential threats, and developing innovative solutions.
It's about being several steps ahead of the game.
Precisely.
Anticipating what's coming next.
And that requires a willingness to challenge assumptions.
Okay.
To think outside the box.
Yeah.
The cybersecurity landscape is constantly evolving.
Right.
So we can't afford to be complacent. We need to be adaptable, innovative.
Be agile.
And always learning.
It's like Tron is this constant reminder that the digital world is never static.
Right.
It's this dynamic, evolving space where the lines between science fiction and reality are constantly blurring.
And that's what makes it so fascinating, right? I mean, we're living in an era where technology is advancing at this crazy rate, Who knows what incredible innovations or challenges await us just around the corner.
It's both exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, just like in Tron, it's ultimately up to us to shape the future of this digital world.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time for us to power down for now. A huge thank you to our listener for sending in that thought-provoking article. It's amazing how a film about a programmer battling rogue AI in a digital world can still resonate so strongly today.
It's a testament to the power of great storytelling.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those firewalls up.